Hello everyone, and welcome to Pros and Cons of the video game Lost in Random on Not Now Mom, I'm Gaming. These are short videos featuring gameplay clips or screenshots so as not to share too much in the spoiler department. Links to this review are in the description below. Let the reviewing begin. Pros: Tim Burton art style. This, I'd say, is probably what won a lot of gamers over when it comes to sticking with the game, along with the quirky characters. It is such a unique palette from a lot of other games out there and is very reminiscent of the style of Nightmare Before Christmas, which, who doesn't know of that movie and watch it at least once a year? The atmosphere is dark and not a lot of people are happy, aside from Manny Ducks, but that's okay, because it sets the mood. Board game arenas. This is a game where you throw around dice, so of course it makes sense to incorporate board games into it, and I'm glad they did because it breaks up the monotony of combat. Instead of rolling the dice to land on a number so we can use a card, we can now use the number for that, as well as moving a piece on the board to complete the minigame. Cons: slow conversations. I was trying to figure out what it was about the characters talking to us that made me want to skip them, and I narrowed it down to two things. First off, our character Even doesn't always have voiced lines. Normally in scenes she will, but not in choice-driven conversations, which means at times you rely on either listening to her voice or controlling the pace by going at your own reading speed. I read faster than they talk, therefore the pace becomes slowed. Not only that, but some of the NPCs don't speak proper words, so you have to wait for them to finish speaking their sentence in their own slow pace to continue. Long and tedious combat. Talking along the start of the combat the game introduces up until to town. Holy crap, the combat is so unbearably long and drawn out in some sections. While there are cards that allow you to actually damage enemies in a certain way, if you don't have those cards on hand and activated, the only way to hit an enemy is to hit the crystals on their body. So you hit and hit and hit those crystals until you get the cards you want to use. And if you don't get the cards you want or need, you hit and hit and hit those crystals until you do. The monotony of it kills the combat faster than you kill the enemies. Storybook feels stilted. In each chapter you go through, there's a page of a storybook that you can collect, so then you can go into the menu and listen to it. And I hate how they did it this way because you might miss a page and so the storybook will be incomplete. They could have gone with what South of Midnight did and do the storybook at the start of each chapter, at each town we arrive at. Or maybe how Resident Evil Village did at the start of the game, by just reading the whole story, though for spoiler purposes I can see what this wouldn't want to be used. Instead we collect the pages or we don't, and we read them at various points in the game. And that's the end of our pros and cons review of Lost in Random. And if you're interested in a longer podcast review of this game, there's another link in the description where you can vote for it. Thanks for watching everyone, and don't get in too much trouble when you say, "Not now, Mom, I'm gaming."